wanted to ask you a little more about your career. You mentioned today like your goals and your ambitions.
Hmm.
Like how intense has that ambition been for you to become a head coach? Is that something like I think back for myself, like there was stuff I wanted in my
Yeah.
20s that I maybe wasn't ready for. Is that something that you've always kind of been pushing for, or is it
Yeah,
more
no.
like wait till it comes?
Yeah, I would say, I always try to, dominate the situation that I'm in, be prepared for what's next. And then, just having the opportunities that I've had to be around the coaches that I've had, they've inspired me. So that hunger and the desire grew and grew and grew. And now it's something that that I hope one day I'll be able to get to be able to do.
You've seen young coaches. I mean, there's coaches younger than you that
Yeah.
are head coaches. I mean, so
Yeah.
I mean, does it feel like that's close, like that's within reach?
I hope so. I mean, it always depends on what you do, right? You got to have success, and then somebody's got to want you. And so, in the relationship between yourself, the owner, and the general manager, like that's got to be all right. The fit's got to all be right. And so, you just got to be prepared for the opportunity. I'm going to be myself. That's what I do, and I love leading these men, and so I love doing that in Chicago. I love leading that group. I take that job as if I am the head coach of the offense, and I take it that way. I work every day like that, and so it's what I really love to do.
I know you're so process driven. During this time of year after the season ends, do you pay attention to the interviews that are going on, or
With
head coach interviews?
Oh, yeah,
Do
yeah.
you take note of it?
For sure, and again, I reflect more on my experiences, the people that I've been around more than anything. But yeah, you try to stay prepared. You try to learn from everybody. The information that I've gotten from so many people this week alone, you just take it and hopefully it helps you for when you get that opportunity.
When you get that next chance to interview after last year at Denver, and now you've had this whole season, you have this
Yeah.
experience of another season.
Yeah.
How much different you think you'll be maybe in the interview setting, and
Yeah.
how much more ready will you be for that opportunity?
Yeah, I'm so much more tuned in and dialed in to the whole package. This experience in Chicago has been unbelievable. The exposure that Ryan and Matt allow me to have, and the McCaskey family allows you to have, to be a part of it all is just it's been an awesome experience. Way more prepared, like you said, for when that opportunity does come. Then I've learned so much in Green Bay, but Mississippi State and all those other spots. But this year's been awesome.
I think you were 25 when you got the job at Wesleyan. Is that right?
That's 23.
23.
23.
You were the offensive coordinator.
23, turning 24. Yeah.
Okay. I know it's a smaller program, but that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take on at that age.
Oh yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Oh yeah, I was a know-it-all, right? You're the 23-year-old that thinks you know everything. You figured it out. You get in that situation, and then they start asking you questions you don't have answers for. And so I learned more as a coach and about myself that year than I ever did in any other year, honestly. It was an opportunity for me to really put myself in the fire and challenge myself to learn the entire thing, not just the quarterback or not just the running back, to do everything. I mean, I had the opportunity to coach multiple position groups when I was doing that job too, so that was a really good experience for me.
How did you figure it out eventually? It sounds like the way you're describing it, like it was probably more than you were ready for, but eventually you got the hang of it, I would assume.
Yeah, no, I think playing the quarterback position allows you to, the way you approach the game and the way you approach your preparation kind of gets you in that mindset. And so that leadership role is something that I've always loved. I've always wanted to have that. And so that part of it kind of has always come a little bit natural to me. But it's more putting it all together and learning your teaching progression, right? Like you can't just go in and put these plays in. You got to have a teaching progression of how you're going to get to those plays. And so that's trial and error. That's me moving around. I went back the next year, was a GA at Pitt, and I got to watch Frank Signetti go to work and how he did it from step A to step Z, and that you learn from all those guys and how they do stuff like that. So that teaching progression, that teaching philosophy is really what you build throughout your career.
You've known Zetz for a long time.
Yeah.
What's it like having him with you at Hallis and here
Yeah.
for this experience?
No, he's my rock. He's been great. We kind of have two different backgrounds in the sense that he's been in the college game way more than I have. But he's so dialed in and so detailed in everything that he does. I begged Jim to let me have him this week, and if I wouldn't have him, this thing wouldn't look the way it does. So he kills it. He's a rock star for us. So we're gonna mic him up tomorrow. That way you guys can get a little inside scoop on what he's doing during the day.
Have you learned anything about that job?
You like that? You see that? Put that in there for you?
About the
You better get that done.
I mean, he delivered on the score today.
He did.
Have you learned anything about the job this week? I know, again, this is such an unusual situation, but has there been anything where you're like, oh, okay, this is part of the job too, I got to be on top of this?
I think it's just the biggest thing you learn from something like this is you have to think of everything, right? And make sure that everything is good to go. It's something as simple as you know, practices in the afternoon, making sure that the linebacker has the earpiece in his helmet. You know, you want to make sure you cross every T, dot every I. And sometimes, you know, you take that for granted whenever you're in, you know, an organization like Chicago that takes care of it for you. And so when you're in that position, you got to make sure you're checking every corner.